Hey y'all, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and bolt the intake on this thing. So we've got the intake over here, and it comes with a bunch of the seals that go on, the rubber seals that go on it, and it comes with comes with a set of bolts, and I think it comes with actually some bolts that you may or may not need, depending on which intake you have. And most importantly, it comes with these awesome Holly Equip stickers. So we're going to put this thing together. I'm going to put these seals on it, and I use this Permatex Aviation Forma gasket. I love this crap. I use it on everything. I've used it on everything from home plumbing to seals to gaskets to rubber to NPT thread sealing, stuff where you would use Teflon tape. I use this crap. It's like Frank's Red Hot. I put this crap on everything. It is a complete mess. It will stick to everything. It will make a complete mess of everything you're working on. So you have to have a bunch of brake clean in order to clean it off. But I never have issues with this stuff sealing. So we're going to use that to get these gaskets to get them to stick in place. Here, I'll put in another piece of bad advice that we do that the internet loses its mind over. All 4 steam vents blocked off. So there is no steam vents in this engine at all. Whether that's right or not, I don't know. People claim it makes hot spots, blah, 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 blah. But this thing has the offset filler, which, as you can see, is higher than the rest of the engine. So the water that's in here is higher than the water that's in the engine. I've never had an issue. It's been that way for like 3 years. So all the people that tell you can't run blocked off steam vents, guess what? We've been doing it for 3 years. So there's another piece of bad advice for you. So what I am doing is I have taken a Q-tip and cut the end off, and I am just applying a little bit of this aviation sealer. My master plan is to get it to stick to the intake side, and then put a light coat of grease over the top so it does not stick to the engine side. And that way you should be able to take these off. The intake, the gaskets, when you go to take it off, the gasket will stick to the intake and not stick to the engine side. And that's how I've done these in the past, at least on the plastic intakes. And that's how we're going to do this one as well. And we'll see how it works out. So I have just a little bit of aviation sealer, and all I'm doing is sticking these O-rings down in the groove. The aviation sealer. And then I put just a touch of brake clean on a towel and clean the outside edge so it sticks to the inside but not to the outside. And there you go. So all the seals are installed, and we'll do the other side and drop this thing on. So now my other favorite engine assembly thing is Vaseline. So I'm going to Vaseline the outside of these, just very lightly, and then so they don't stick to the intake, to the head side. So there we go. We're ready to drop this thing on. So I dropped the intake on, put in the slide bolts. Some are short, some are long. You got to get them in the right spot.
I snug it all down with a 1/4 inch and then think, well, I'm doing this for the video. I should probably do it right and use a torque wrench. So I get out my inch-bound torque wrench and torque it to the specified torque, but one of them is not torquing properly. But I trust the torque wrench, and all the rest of them click, and this middle one, pow, it breaks off.
This channel is about what is real and not what is fake. And what is real is one of the intake bolts snapped off. So I am luckily able to get this thing to turn by hand. So we are extracting a broken bolt. Yeah, this kind of blows, but yeah, I've got it largely unscrewed. I can get a pair of needle nose on it. And there it is. Fucker. So, let's go buy a new bolt. Okay, so we went up to the Home Depot, got ourselves another bolt. Looks exactly like the others, these cheap grade 5 bolts. So we're going to try this again. This time maybe without the torque wrench. We'll do it by hand and see what happens.
But I wanted to clean out that hole, make sure there was no metal shavings or anything from me extracting that bolt. So I cleaned out all the rest of them too. And here's a tip that I learned while turning wrenches at the Pontiac dealer after high school. Always blow out bolt holes with some air, especially if you've done something like I just did, which is put some liquid in there, or you pull the cylinder head and you got some water down on those holes, because liquid does not compress, and you screw a bolt down in there, you can actually crack the block or crack the head or whatever it is you're working on.
Alright, now we're going to try and mount this carburetor. I bought some cheapo linkage for it, and we got some bolts, so let's see if we can get this thing mounted without too much drama. Well, because I'm using a spacer, I got to use a longer mount. The hat came with a stud, but because I'm using the spacer, the stud is not long enough. So we have some threaded rod here, and I'm going to mark that and cut it to length. So there we go. Intake, carb, hat, all installed. So next up, we're going to have to figure out what to do with the throttle cable. This cable is probably not going to work, but way too long. So we'll have to figure out what to do with throttle cable. I also have a manual brake booster, or master cylinder go on this, get rid of that. And then we're going to have to redo the exhaust, and we're going to move the turbo, probably move the radiator. We'll rearrange for 2021. This thing does sit pretty high, so I think we are going to end up cutting a hole in the hood for it, or run with no hood. But even if it's not fast, it looks pretty.
Well, even though I didn't have the fuel system plumbed, I wanted to see if this thing would fire up, so I just filled the bowls through the vents and gave it a shot. So we have a running E85 carbureted car. Thanks for watching, y'all.